Hi everyone, I'm Pat Prokop out here in the heavenly backyard garden. It is early May. As a matter of fact, May 4th. So may the 4th be with you, or the Force be with you on this Star Wars Day, May 4th, 2023. Anyway, it is still galaxy season. So last night, I wanted to try to capture M104, the Sombrero galaxy. However, the moon was just too close to that galaxy and I couldn't get on a tracking star to guide the scope around because the sky was just so bright. However, over in Hercules, there is a star cluster, a fantastic, beautiful star cluster. It is called, well, Messier 13, or the Hercules star cluster. Nearby, still in the constellation Hercules, is a cluster of galaxies. We're talking lots and lots of galaxies. We're talking billions, no, trillions and trillions of stars. And so I wanted to capture this cluster of galaxies. So the first thing I did, using the Orion Eon 130 millimeter refractor on top of the EQ, or the Skywatcher EQ6R Pro mount, I wanted to capture M13, Messier 13, the Great Globular Cluster in Hercules. So I used 2-minute exposures and I took 30 of those. So that gave me a 1-hour exposure of M13. But then I swung the telescope just a little bit over toward the east to get the great cluster of galaxies in the constellation Hercules. And for that, I used 5-minute exposures. Now, the moon was nearly full and very bright, so I did use the Optilong L Pro filter to help cut down on that moon glow, and it did a great job. And to make a long story short, after I processed the images from M13, which was really good, the cluster in Hercules just actually, it just blows my mind. There are so many galaxies that you can see in your own backyard. Now, this video is going to be a little bit on the long side. Several people asked me to show how I capture the image and then how I process the image. So from start to finish, how I do this. So I'm going to have down at the bottom of the screen here an index. So you can skip ahead or skip to an area that you want to see. We're going to be talking about Deep SkyStacker, PixInsight, and Photoshop. And also inside of PixInsight, how to do an image analysis, to get an annotation, and to create a star chart or a finding chart for the target in question. So with that being said, let's go to the computer and to N.I.N.A. I'm set up here in N.I.N.A, and I'm going to go for M13, which is the Great Hercules Cluster, and then Able 2151, which is also in Hercules. That'll be coming up a little bit later, but right now let's go back to M13. It has just cleared my tree horizon over in the northeastern sky. Going into the cluster itself, I think we're already exposing, so let's go into the imagery right now. And there's the cluster centered from the autofocus, and let's just bring it out to full screen right now, and there it is. And of course that's a 5-second exposure. Coming up to I'm going to be doing 2-minute exposures on the Hercules star cluster, but then when I go into the Hercules cluster of galaxies, I'm going to be using 5-minute subframes on that. Of course, that'll be a little bit later. You know, looking at Stellarium, here's the cluster right over here, and the telescope sitting on top of the cluster. Now, here's the moon way over here. So the moon should not cause much interference, a little bit, but with that filter, it should really, really help. But for right now, I'm going to stick with this, and let's go back to the imagery right now. And there's the second full sub that just came in, and notice the guiding is getting a little bit better, settling down. Was 175, now it's down to 1.61. It'll get down to about 0.85 to 80 within the next hour or two. Well, anyway, that's the plan. But it does usually get better as you go higher up in the atmosphere. You can see how I got it set up on the sequence. I'm taking a total of 30 frames at 120 seconds each. So that's 1 hour. So this image here is going to be 1 hour in length. And I got the dithering on every 3 frames. So, and of course the camera gain, the unity gain is 100. And I have an offset of 40. It seems to work best with this camera. So looking back at the imagery, The numbers look pretty good over here. And of course, the stars look really good. That's the main point, the bottom line. You want nice round stars all around the picture. So and we're getting nice round stars. But the next image that I'll be doing, as if it's in the framing here, that's Hercules Cluster. It is the galaxy cluster. Oh, which one is it? Able 2151. Let's look that up. There it is, right there. Let's set for the framing assistant. Now, what I did is I took it up to here. And if you look at this image here, holy moly, look at all the galaxies. These are galaxies over here. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. I think I can zoom in on this. Yeah, look at all the galaxies over here. And, I mean, come on. I mean, these galaxies are just, it's mind-boggling at the number of galaxies in this one field of view. And I'm going to be interested to see how the final image comes out, because I'm going to take about 5 to 6 hours worth of imagery on this target alone for tonight. And on the sequence, I have it set up over here to take 300 seconds, 60 minutes, 60 frames worth. That'll give me 5 hours worth. And you can see it's just about up all night long. And so hopefully we're going to get some really, really good images out of this. So that's the goal anyway. The last night I took a picture of M101. I've taken that before. That's a huge galaxy. And well, how huge? Well, the Milky Way is about, what, 200 to 250 billion stars. M101, or the Northern Pinwheel Galaxy, that thing is, oh my gosh, it's got more than 1 trillion stars. Not billion, trillion stars in that galaxy alone. So, yeah, look at that picture. This is a just shy of 6 hours, 5 hours and 50 minutes on this image right here. That was from last night, and the moon was, again, just nearly full, but I used the Optolong L Pro filter to help knock down on the glare from the moon. All right, let's take a look at the imagery. The last image came in, big old X across the sky. 2 satellites came zooming across the area, field of view. Look at that, right across the region. Anyway, that's that. And look at the tracking. It was very good throughout the night. The last couple of hours, 0.82. So, pretty good tracking overall. And if we look at the image history, there you can see the HFR was very good throughout the night. 2.76, 2.73. All across the board, 2.7. So it looked very, very good throughout the night. So let's take all this information and let's start post-processing this. First of all, I want to go into a program called Deep SkyStacker. All right, here I am in Deep SkyStacker. And what I'm going to do, first of all, is open up the picture files. And I have them over here on my hard drive. I transfer them over from the remote computer into the main desktop computer. I put in there at May 4th today. May the 4th be with you. The 4th be with you. May the 4th. Anyway, let's first of all do M13, the Hercules star cluster. And there they are right there. I'm going to take the first one. Just hit Control All. Open. Okay. Going to check all. Let's just open up one of them. Can't see too much there. Let's bring up the light level a little bit. There's the cluster right there. So let's stack this. First of all, I want to add my dark frames. And I don't have a dark frame for 120, but I'm going to use 300 and see what happens. And the flat frames, I have that from the previous night, so it's already stacked. And there's the master gain. And then the dark flats, I have that from the other night. So let's take the master flat dark and let's go into register check pictures. It's going to give me a warning about my darks. That's okay. Let's just go from there. And it's a 1 hour exposure. That's about right. And we're beginning to stack. So here we are stacking M13, the star cluster in Hercules. And now it's loading the final picture. And there it is right there. Let's just bring on the light just a little bit higher. It's going slow right now because I have the record editor running in the background, or actually in the foreground. That's why I'm recording here. That's why it's slowing down just a little bit there. Let's go over into PixInsight. All right, I'm going to go into PixInsight now. It's looking like I'm looking the other way because I'm on the other monitor now. But let's go into PixInsight. I have it right here. And first thing I do is I load in my saved project that I call Pat's first project here. And again, it's going slow because I'm recording as well as doing the work over here in PixInsight. There's Pat's startup right there. I'm going to load that in. And now let's load in the image that I just stacked. May 4th, M13, lights, and should be the autosave right there. Can't see much right there, but we're going to stretch it first of all. And there it is, the raw image. That's pretty nice. So let's see if we can do it a little bit better here. So the next thing I'm going to do is just go into automatic background extraction. I'm just going to run the default right there. Let it do its thing. You can buy me a cup of coffee, by the way, if you would like. You don't have to, but I like my coffee. All right, well, I did smooth it out a little bit more there. That's a pretty good looking image at the moment. Now, let's go and do some correction here. Let's take, first of all, two previews here. Let's get this area here. That's nice and black. I can zoom in on that. Whoops, zoom in on that. And you can see it's, well, let's move it over just a little bit. All right, right there. All right, that's good for that. For the background neutralization, and then I want a white area right here. We'll take the cluster itself. All right, now the next thing I do is background neutralization. I want to take preview 1 there. If you hold your mouse over it, it shows you the image that you have used for your background neutralization. Okay, say okay. And just execute, or you can hold the triangle over and do it that way too. Okay, it didn't do too much of a change. Looks like I got some gold stars in there. That's good. Gold stars indicate stars are you know, several billion years old. All right, probably in the order of 13 billion years old or more or less. Okay, color correction. Again, I want to get the white correction, which was preview 2. There it is right there. You can see it. Okay. And then for the background neutralization, I want the preview 1, which is that background there. Okay. All right. And just hit execute. And this should color correct it. It did. Well, it looks pretty nice. Next thing I want to do is curve transformation. Notice I have all these things lined up in the order that I usually use them. So let's go to preview. That's a bit dark. A little bit goes right there. I want that. That looks okay for right now. All right. And then I'm going to go to histogram transformation. I take the stretching that I use, which is in the screen transfer, and just pull that triangle down into here and then release it, and then hit execute either with a square or drop the triangle onto the image itself. Either way works the same. And it should turn white, and it does. Just click on this up here to go back. And so now the image is changed from what, linear to nonlinear, or nonlinear to linear, whatever one. Anyway, now it's, I could save it like that if I want to. But what I'm going to do, again, that looks pretty nice, but I think I can get these stars a little bit sharper. So what I'm going to do is go into the RC Blur Exterminator first of all. And I'm just going to take, well, almost the default. Default for the halo size would be 0. I'm going minus 0.16. That's going to sharpen those stars a little bit more and take a little less halo off of them. So let's do that. And again, just either way, drop the triangle or hit the square. Now, the first time that I go through the process here. It takes a little long in setting it up, but I have my graphics card working now. So once it gets through the initialization, it then zips right through it. You'll see in just a moment here. Again, they're running a little slow because I'm recording at the same time on the same processor. Good time to get another cup of coffee. I love coffee. There it goes. Look at it go. And that's slow. Usually it's faster than that. So let's take a look at before and after. Let's zoom in just a little bit. There's now. Let's do it before. You can see the stars after. This is after. It's how much sharper they are. Seems like it brings it in a little bit more of a focus. Yeah, that looks nice. All right. A lot of stars out in that star cluster there. All right. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to save this image. So save as. I'm going to save it as a TIFF file at 16-bit resolution. I'm going to call it M13, and call it BlurX. So I used a blur exterminator. All right, and save it as a 16-bit file right over here. It defaults to 32 on this program here. Again, it's going slow because I'm doing two things at the same time. All right, now the next thing I want to do is go into Star Exterminator. And I'm just going to take the defaults right here and just see what happens when it pulls out the stars. It's probably going to leave a bit of a core right in here. And it's going to highlight this galaxy up over here. So we'll see what happens. All right, I should get two images out of this, a starless image and an image with stars. See what happens. Okay. This is the supposedly starless image. There you can see the background. A lot of stars blended together. And then over here you have that galaxy off in the distance. That must be way out there. Okay, and here you have the stars themselves. And there you can see the gold stars in there and the green that it extracted. So I'm going to save these two images. I'm going to save this one as, save as, and as TIFF. And I'm going to just call it M13 stars. M13 stars. Okay, again, 16-bit. Say OK. And this one is going to save as nebulosity. Save as. Again, M13 BlurX. So let's call it. I always call them Neb for nebulosity. Just I know what that is. Okay, even though it's not a nebula. 16-bit. Okay. All right. Now the next thing I do is I go into Photoshop. So I'm going to open up Photoshop here. There are the stars. There is the nebulosity without the stars. And there is the picture as is. Okay, so what I want to do and work with this one here. So go into Filter, Camera Raw Filter, right over here. All right. There we go. Now let's play with the contrast. Let's do it right there. Let's go with the highlights. Do I want to go up or down? Well, it's about the same. Shadows, about the same. I'm going to leave the whites alone for now. Go down to the blacks. Let's darken this up a little bit. Well, there you can see the golds coming out there. Somewhat. Anyway, and let's go with the focusing over here. Sharpen those stars up. We can smooth it out a little bit with the texture. See the difference? Texture. Okay, I'm going to put it right there. And then dehaze it right over here. That smooths it out a little bit more. And then I'm going to go into vibrance. Bring out these colors. See the difference? I'm going to bring up the saturation a little bit more. So I'm getting these golden stars over in this area here. Okay, let's just keep it at that right now. Let's just say okay for now. There's the difference right there. Yeah, it's not looking bad. Let's just, for fun, let's take this image here. Let's go into filter, raw filter. Take that. Okay, then I'm going to Control Alt to copy it, to take the whole image, then copy, Control C. I copied it. Now I'm going to go back to the original there. I'm going to Control V, as in Victor, to paste it right there. Now I'm going to go over here, and over here where it says normal, I'm going to go to either lighter. That's too light. Let's just see what happens here. Okay, now let's before and after. Before and after. A little bit too much. Let's just bring it down a little bit. We're going to go 50%. All right, that looks pretty good right there. Before, after. Let's do that. All right. All right, I'm going to merge the visible together as one image. Now, if you look at a closer view of this, there you can see it's pretty good. Nice stars and so forth and so on. Let's go back out. And I'm going to go into another plugin. It's under filters though. And it's Topaz Laz, and it's Denoise AI. And I'm going to take that. It's going to go into that. All right. So what I'm going to do is, there's different levels I could try here. And here's the first one, standard. There's the before, and there's the after. Before, not too much of a change here. Let's try the standard here. Let's do it. Before, after. What do you think? Before, after. Sharpens it up a little bit. What do you think? All right, there's the image there. Okay, now I'm going to save this. 13, I'm just going to call it Photoshop. And save. I'm just going to do no compression and keep everything else the same. And say OK. There's my final image right there. And it looks pretty nice. A lot of stars in that globular cluster. I believe over 100,000. I have the number up there on the screen. I'm just guessing off the top of my head right now. Anyway. Okay. Let's go out of that. I want to go back into PixInsight. I want to show you something else. Okay, I'm going to open up one of the fit files. So open a video. Open up an image. I'm going to take one of the image files. Let's take one somewhere in the middle. It doesn't matter. I'll take that one. Okay. I'm going to stretch it. The reason I'm using the fit file because it has all the information about the time, the coordinates, and the right ascension and the declination for this image. That's important. I'll show you why. First of all, though, I'm going to go to histogram transformation. Just going to do that real quickly and say OK. It should turn to white. OK, and do that. Minimize that. Now, what I'm going to do is go into Script, Analysis, Solver. Let's go into and search. Go Messier 13. Say search. Let's do OK. Okay, so next thing I want to do, so you say, well, so what? Well, here, let me show you. Let's go to, again, Script, and then go to Render. and then go into Annotate Image right there. See it? Okay, Annotate Image. You can't do this until you do that first image integration or image dealie there. Okay. Now, this will annotate the image. You can do a preview right here. See what it's going to look like. And there, it's got, you know, M13, and it's got some of these other objects on there. You can say close. Let's just say OK. All right, there's the image, and it's kind of like a alpha background. So only the data for the NGCs and the galaxies or the nebulosity is showing up. So what I'm going to do is just save this as a TIFF. Save as. I'm going to call it M13 annotated. M13 annotated. So yeah, it's going to be 16-bit. It's already there. Okay. All right, it saved that. I'm going to just close that out. Now, keep this window open. Let's go to processes, all processes, and go into finding chart right there. There it is. All these, you got finding chart. Let's do that. Click on that, and you get the finding chart. Now, you can play with these numbers here. I have it set to 2048 as the chart size, and the automatic resolution, screen resolution, is the recommended value to use. And limit the star magnitude, well, I got it at 5.1. It's no big deal. Anyway, I'm just going to hit apply. Or I can just do this here and drop it. And watch what happens here. It forms this nice little finder's chart. There it is right there. And this is the finder's chart. So I can zoom in on that. And just minimize that. And see, there's M13 right there. Right there in Hercules. Okay. All right. I'm going to save that as file. Save as. I'm going to call it M13 finder's chart or finding chart. And hit save. 16-bit. Okay. So now I have a finding chart to go along with this. I also could use with Stellarium to use that. Anyway, let's minimize this once again. Let's go back into Photoshop, which is right there. And let's just bring this back out. I'm already on magnified. Okay. Now that's not a bad looking image. Okay, let's open up that annotated image. There it is right there. Okay, open that up. Okay, I'm going to Control A for all. Control C to copy. Okay, go back to the image. Not that one. Not that one. But that one. And just hit Control V. And it should be right over it. There it is. That galaxy is NGC 6207. And there's another something out there, IC 4615. Okay. Yeah. And there's another one there. But of course, the great Hercules cluster there. And then you can save this. What I do is just flatten the image. And just save as, file. Save a copy, actually. And we'll just do none and save. Okay, so now I have that. I can zoom in on, you can see M13 Hercules Globular Cluster, IC 4617. That's that other galaxy, wasn't it? Yeah. And there's that NGC 6207. And then we got other things over here. Right there. Okay. And I can look these up on the internet, see if there's any additional information to find out with that. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing for the big cluster of galaxies in Hercules, that Able 2151, is that it? Able 2151. Anyway, let's do that, and I'll be back shortly. All right, here's my final image after processing in PixInsight and Photoshop and stacking in Deep SkyStacker. And there is a cluster of galaxies there and up over here. Let's zoom in. There's one over here. Let's zoom in a little bit and take another closer look here. And look at all these galaxies over here and more over here and down over here. There's a big one over here. Cluster over here. There's one over there sideways on edge. That's a star, double, triple star. There's one there, another one there. They're all over the place. Yeah, the great Hercules cluster of galaxies. Look at all these over here. There's another one up here. Over here. Any more? There's one way up there. Yeah, and they're all over the place. One over here. Let's take a look at the annotation, and there's the sky chart right there, showing the clusters located right over here in Hercules, and bring it out a little bit. There's Hercules there, and the annotated right here. Look at some of these, and I did some analysis, checking up on the distances and so forth. And a lot of these, they're averaging about 450 to 480 million light years away. Yeah, you heard 480 million light years away. A lot of these galaxies over here. And this is not picking up all of them either. There's some, I noticed that I see galaxies in here that, whether, for example, right there, it didn't pick up on the annotation. And over here to the upper portion of the picture, there's two galaxies right there that weren't picked up. They're probably in the ballpark of 500 million light years away. And I saw this in my own backyard. It's amazing what you can see these days. Now, I did use the Optolong L Pro filter to help filter out the glow of the moon. The moon was just about 1 day shy of full. That's what it was. It was very bright outside last night, but the air was super clear. That helped a lot. But I just, some of these, let's see if I have here, NGC 6055. I think I got that. Yeah, 450 million light years away. Do I have this one? 6061? I think I do. Yeah, there it is. 490 million light years away. I mean, it's just blowing my mind. 6040. Did I do that one? Yes. Oh my gosh. 6040, this galaxy here, actually there's two of them, that one is estimated to be 550 million light years away. This is just boggling the mind. 6045, did I do that one? No, but that's an interesting looking galaxy there. I did an IC 1173. Where is that? IC 1173. There it is right there. IC 1173, 480 million light years away. So this is just fantastic. It just, well, whoosh, it just blows my mind. I can see this. You can see this in your own backyards with the telescopes that we have today. Now, I spent the entire night with N.I.N.A on this. It was a 5-hour exposure, and I went to bed after I got it going. I went to bed, got up in the morning, downloaded the data into my system, and it's just amazing what's out there. So yeah, wow. So I hope if you have a chance to look at, well, all the globular clusters that are showing up in the sky right now, not only M13, but M5, M53, M3. There's a lot of giant globular clusters, and they contain hundreds of thousands of stars in some cases a little less, like 80,000 stars. You know, little ones, 80,000 stars. Anyway, if you like this video, please hit the like button below. And if you have any comments, please feel free to make your comments and post your comments below as well. I love reading your comments. And you saw me drinking coffee. I do like my coffee. If you would like to buy me a cup of coffee, you know, I love coffee. It's $2 a cup, not bad. Anyway, you can do that if you desire. But also I'd like to have you subscribe to this channel if you haven't not already subscribed to it. I'm out here in the heavenly backyard garden, and you look at it right now. It is becoming just that, heavenly, with all the blooms. And I have another channel called my Pat's Weather and Nature channel. And on that, I have weather and garden information. I've been posting garden videos on there, and of course, weather information for the southeast United States. But anyway, if you get a chance, take a look at some of these galaxies. They're all over the place. M101, I just took that the other night. There's a picture right there. M101, easy galaxy to fix upon, and the results are beautiful. You should be able to get M101 with no problems. And right nearby is M51, or the Whirlpool Galaxy, sometimes known as the question mark galaxy. All in a sky around you, in your own backyard perhaps, or in your own location. You don't have to look at the Webb telescope or the Hubble telescope. You can look through your telescope and get some fantastic images. And as I said in the video earlier, when I was processing, some of these images just blow my mind. There's so much out there, the galaxies, and you got to wonder, we're looking at the galaxies. I wonder how many intelligent life forms are looking back at the Milky Way galaxy. Did you ever think about that? There has to be someone looking back, or some things looking back and looking at us and saying, I wonder what's going on over there in that galaxy. I wonder if they're intelligent enough to look out into space. Well, the word intelligence is a good question to use anyway. I hope you like this video. And remember, the heavens are filled with majestic wonders, and they're all in a sky near you. So unless you need rain, clear skies, everyone.